Imagine a single day where Google's flagship product just completely breaks down in testing.
Right.
And then, the creator of the modern microchip is being treated like a literal rock star on the streets of Tokyo.
Yeah, drawing massive crowds.
Exactly. And then, at the exact same time, you've got 16 Nobel laureates simultaneously hitting the global economic panic button.
It's a lot.
It is. But that day was July 16th, 2026. So welcome to today's deep dive.
Thanks for having me.
We are going to be using the July 16 edition of Aaron Rose's Tech Reader AI Digest as our grounding source today to really cut through an incredibly chaotic news cycle.
Because it really has been chaotic.
Oh, absolutely. And our mission for you today isn't just to list off a bunch of tech headlines, right? We're going to look under the hood to understand how these seemingly isolated events, across software, hardware, cybersecurity, global economics, how they are all fundamentally driving the exact same massive transformation.
Yeah, because we have officially crossed over from the hype phase into this really messy, incredibly high-stakes infrastructure phase of artificial intelligence.
Right.
The conversations they're no longer about hypothetical chatbots. We are watching trillions of dollars, national security protocols, and the literal physical wiring of the global economy actively collide in real time.
It's wild. So, okay, let's start with the digital infrastructure side of things, specifically Google.
Sure.
Their massive, highly anticipated frontier model, Gemini 3.5 Pro, well, it just missed its launch deadline for the third time.
Yeah, a huge blow.
It was heavily leaked for a July 17 release, which obviously didn't happen. And this follows a missed commitment at their June I.O. event, and then another missed target on June 30.
Right.
And if you look at the prediction markets, where traders are putting actual money on the line, there is a 73% probability we won't see this launch until August 7.
Wow.
Yeah, with July 24 as like a potential fallback.
And in the software development world, missing a single deadline it's a minor hiccup.
Sure, happens all the time.
But missing 3 in a row, that indicates a structural crisis.
Right.
The digest really highlights that Google isn't delaying this for marketing reasons. They are battling foundational failures in testing. Specifically, the model is failing at recursive tool calling and SVG generation.
Okay, let's unpack this because those are pretty dense terms.
Yeah, they are.
Let's start with recursive tool calling. What is actually breaking inside the model here?
Well, think of tool calling as the AI's ability to reach out and use external software. So if you ask an AI to book a flight...
It needs to call a travel API, right?
Exactly. It has to connect to that outside system. Now, recursive tool calling means the AI uses a tool, evaluates the result, realizes maybe it made an error or it needs more information, and then autonomously calls another tool to fix it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and Google's model is basically getting stuck in infinite loops. It's completely failing to resolve these multi-step processes.
That's wow. And what about the other one, SVG generation?
Right. Scalable vector graphics.
Yeah.
It's a way of creating images using raw math and code rather than like pixels.
Okay.
So it requires intense logical precision. The fact that the model is struggling here really suggests the underlying reasoning engine has critical bugs.
Which is wild because, on paper, this model is a behemoth. It boasts a 2.1 million token context window.
Which is massive.
Right. That means it can hold the equivalent of dozens of dense textbooks in its active memory at once, analyzing all of it simultaneously.
Exactly.
And it also features this specialized deep think mode. But having incredible specs doesn't matter if the basic plumbing doesn't work.
No, it doesn't.
And the technology failing is really only half the story here.
Yeah.
The real crisis for them is the talent bleed.
Yeah, the engineers who actually understand how to fix that plumbing are walking out the door.
Right. So Gemini co-lead Noam Shazir just left for OpenAI.
Yeah.
And this is the guy who co-authored the original Transformer paper that made modern AI possible in the first place.
Right. Google reportedly spent $2.7 billion just to bring him back to the company in 2024.
$2.7 billion.
Yeah.
And then Nobel laureate John Jumper defected to Anthropic. And in that very same week, Jonas Adler and Alexander Pritzel, 2 senior architects of Google's AI coding efforts, they followed him.
It's a mass exodus.
It really is. It sounds like Google is trying to build a 250-mile-per-hour supercar, with its unmatched 2.1 million token context window and that deep think reasoning mode. But the steering wheel just keeps falling off in testing.
That's a great way to put it.
And their lead mechanics just walked across the street to work for Ferrari and Porsche.
Right, and what's fascinating here is getting right to the heart of the business threat, which the industry calls habit routing.
Habit routing, okay.
Yeah, developers, they don't just wait around for the best technology to eventually arrive. They build with what is available today.
Makes sense.
Right now, GPT 5.6, Grok 4.5, Claude Fable 5, and Claude Sonnet 5, they're all live in production.
Right, people are using them right now.
Exactly. Developers are currently writing code, setting up API integrations, forming their daily operational habits around those specific models.
So they are building their stations along those tracks, essentially.
Exactly. And once a developer hardwires their entire software application around, say, Anthropic's Claude model, the switching costs become enormous.
Right, I mean, they aren't going to rip all that code out just because Google eventually shows up a month later.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And Anthropic is really capitalizing on this exact momentum.
How so?
Well, while Google stalls, Anthropic just launched a $1.5 billion joint venture with Blackstone to expand their enterprise reach.
Wow.
Yeah, and they're actively prepping for an October IPO under the ticker symbol ANT.
Oh, that's huge.
It is. And most importantly, their Sonnet 5 model is aggressively priced. It's at $2 per million input tokens and $10 for output.
So they're making it really easy to just stick with them.
Exactly. I mean, Google obviously has a massive historic distribution advantage with billions of Android devices and workspace users.
Right, they have the audience.
They do, but here's the aha moment. Distribution does not answer an API call. A delayed foundation model means developers literally cannot build on your platform.
Right, and if developers are locked into other ecosystems, that Android advantage really starts to evaporate.
Yep.
But, this raises a fascinating contradiction. If a software giant with Google's basically unlimited resources is struggling to get digital code to function correctly, how is the hardware side of the AI industry moving so aggressively into the real physical world?
The contrast is honestly stark. While software models are bottlenecked by their own internal logic, the silicon powering them is it's being embedded into the physical infrastructure of entire nations.
Right. So let's talk about NVIDIA. CEO Jensen Huang just wrapped up a 2-day tour in Japan that looked more like, well, a state visit.
Oh, absolutely.
The digest describes crowds of people in Tokyo's Akihabara district just swarming him with smartphones, treating him like a pop icon.
Yeah, the pictures were crazy.
And he stood shoulder to shoulder with Ryohei Akazawa, who is Japan's Minister of Economy, Trade, and Industry, and publicly declared, quote, the beginning of Japanese AR.
Right.
And during this trip, NVIDIA unveiled Cosmos 3 Edge. Now, this isn't a chatbot. It is a world model designed specifically for robots and physical AI to navigate environments in real time.
And we should clarify, world model is a massive leap from a language model.
Okay, break that down for us.
So a language model predicts the next word in the sentence. Right.
Right, like autocomplete.
Exactly. But a world model predicts physical physics.
Physical physics.
Yeah, it understands gravity, spatial relations, material resistance. So when a robot arm reaches for, say, a delicate glass in a factory, a world model allows it to inherently understand how much pressure to apply without crushing it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it adapts in real time to physical variables.
And massive Japanese conglomerates are jumping on board with this. I mean, Fujitsu, Hitachi, Kawasaki, Heavy Industries, they're all joining this open multimodal foundation model coalition.
Right.
And this directly aligns with Noetra, which is Japan's state-backed AI developer that was formed by SoftBank. But wait, I'm stuck on something here, though.
What's that?
I mean, I thought NVIDIA was a chip company. But listening to this, Huang is drawing crowds in Akihabara like a celebrity and signing treaties with government ministers. Are they building technology or are they building a geopolitical empire?
It is absolutely the latter. It's what people are calling the sovereign AI playbook.
Sovereign AI.
Yeah. NVIDIA recognizes that, selling chips to tech giants for cloud data centers, it has a ceiling.
Eventually, that market saturates.
Exactly. To maintain their massive valuation, they have to turn entire sovereign nations into customers. And they're currently running this exact playbook in over 20 different countries.
Over 20.
Yes. They announce a world model tailored for local industries. So in Japan's case, that's robotics and manufacturing. They anchor a local industrial coalition, and they deeply integrate with the national government's long-term economic strategy. NVIDIA is basically positioning its hardware and software stack as the non-negotiable bedrock of national security and economic independence.
And the financial markets are certainly tracking this expansion. SK Hynix, which is the company that supplies the critical high-bandwidth memory that's just essential for NVIDIA's chips, Their stock just surged 27% on the NASDAQ.
Yeah, huge jump.
They raised $26.5 billion in the largest foreign listing in U.S. history.
The capital flowing into the hardware layer is just astronomical right now. But it's actually masking a really severe underlying friction point.
Which is?
Well, Aaron Rose highlights a recent Seaport analyst note in the digest, and it points to a looming crisis compute costs.
Ah, right.
Building the data centers required to train these massive models is currently pushing toward $100 billion per gigawatt.
Wait, $100 billion per gigawatt? Where is all that cost coming from? It can't just be the electricity bill.
No, it's the sheer scale of the physical infrastructure.
Yeah.
It's land acquisition, the massive liquid cooling systems required to just keep these chips from melting, heavy-duty grid transformers, and the actual power generation facilities themselves. So to sustain these unprecedented capital expenditures, NVIDIA is inevitably going to have to raise prices on the neoclouds.
And neoclouds.
Yeah, the specialized AI-focused cloud computing providers. The ones that buy NVIDIA's chips to rent out processing power to developers.
So NVIDIA basically might soon have to raise prices on the very customers they need to subsidize their own growth.
Which is exactly why, even amidst the massive hype of the Japan announcements, major chip stocks like Micron and AMD actually fell between 3% and 8% overnight.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, investors are looking at that $100 billion per gigawatt math and realizing, hey, the physical realities of power and cooling might cap the industry's growth way before the software ever does.
Okay, so if we are hardwiring these incredibly complex, resource-heavy AI systems into Japanese factories, global supply chains, and our daily digital lives, how secure is the foundation it's all built on?
Well, the news out of Microsoft this week provides a deeply unsettling answer to that.
Yeah, so Microsoft just released their July Patch Tuesday updates. And, a typical month might see a few dozen security fixes.
Right.
This week, they released a record-breaking 570 security patches in a single day. 570. They fixed flaws across Windows and related enterprise products, including a critical zero-day vulnerability and major issues with Secure Boot. And Secure Boot, for you listening, is the system that ensures the computer only starts using software trusted by the manufacturer.
Yeah, it's core security.
But the really pivotal detail here is that Microsoft credited its own internal AI systems for discovering a massive portion of these 570 vulnerabilities.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, we have to view this surge in vulnerabilities alongside a report from just last week.
Right, the ransomware report.
Exactly. The Jada Puffer analysis, which documented the very first completely autonomous AI ransomware operation. And simultaneously, the Five Eyes Intelligence Alliance issued a bulletin warning that imminent AI-driven cyber attacks are basically already here.
So here's where it gets really interesting. It used to be that patching your computer was like doing monthly maintenance on your house, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You check the locks, you tighten a hinge, you update your software. Now it sounds like AI is a hyperactive inspector running around finding 570 unlocked windows every single day.
It really does.
How on earth do human IT teams keep up? How do they physically write, test, and deploy patches fast enough?
The scary part is they don't. What we are witnessing right now is the total collapse of the exploit timeline.
Explain that.
Well, historically, there was a natural buffer. When a security researcher found a flaw, it took days or even weeks for malicious actors to reverse engineer that flaw and write the custom code required to actually exploit it.
Right. Humans needed time to understand the architecture.
Exactly. But today, frontier models like Claude and GPT 5.6, they are fluent in generating complex code instantly. So the AI is acting as both the ultimate attacker and the ultimate defender.
So the barrier to entry for launching a sophisticated cyber attack has essentially dropped to zero.
It has. The digest references a terrifying example to illustrate this. The MindGuard cursor, RCE disclosure.
RCE?
Yeah, remote code execution. It is one of the most dangerous types of vulnerabilities out there because it allows a hacker to run malicious commands on your computer from literally anywhere in the world.
Oh, wow.
And in this specific case, the flaw was designed so that the malicious file would automatically execute the exact moment a developer simply opened a code repository.
Just by opening it.
Just looking at the code compromised the machine. And that flaw, it sat entirely unfixed for 7 months.
7 months of vulnerability in a system used by top developers. That's insane.
Yeah. The takeaway here is that the attack surface of our digital world is expanding at, well, AI speed.
Right.
When AI can discover and write exploits faster than human teams can even triage the alert, Cybersecurity, it can no longer be a calendar event. It has to be a continuous autonomous operation just to tread water.
So, with tech moving faster than human security teams can even catch it, it's really no wonder the top economic minds are officially hitting the panic button.
Yeah, it's all connected.
Over 200 economists and AI researchers, including 16 Nobel laureates, just signed a Stanford organized open letter. And they are warning that the AI transformation is, quote, larger than the Industrial Revolution, but unfolding over a vastly shorter time frame.
Yeah, warning of massive job displacement and systemic disruption.
But let me push back a little for you listening. I mean, we've heard robots are taking our jobs for a decade, right?
Sure, every time a new technology drops.
Exactly. Is this just more academic panic? What makes a random Tuesday in July 2026 the tipping point for 16 Nobel laureates? And I should note for the listener, we are not endorsing the economists' specific warnings here or taking any political side regarding job displacement. We're just uncacking the consensus that's being presented by these global experts.
Of course. And this raises an important question, which Aaron Rose answers with one core insight: convergence.
Convergence.
Yeah. You don't have 16 Nobel laureates independently coordinate a letter for a random Tuesday. You have to look at what else is happening in this exact same 2-week window.
Okay, what else is happening?
The Future of Life Institute just released their safety index, which showed that the majority of frontier AI labs are failing independent third-party safety assessments.
Right, and we are rapidly approaching the August 1 deadline for the White House's new AI governance framework.
Exactly. And meanwhile, South Korea just unexpectedly rolled out a massive $880 billion national AI plan to secure their domestic infrastructure.
$880 billion.
Yeah. So the Stanford letter wasn't secretly coordinated with the Future of Life Institute or the White House or South Korea. What you have are entirely separate, independent expert communities, InfoSec, macroeconomics, geopolitics, who are all staring at their own isolated data sets.
Right.
And they are all independently pulling the fire alarm at the exact same moment.
So the convergence of the warnings is the actual data point?
Precisely.
It reveals that the gap between the speed of technological advancement and the speed of institutional preparation is just widening rapidly.
Yeah, it really is.
And, you know, while the Nobels are warning about the future, the transformation is actively rewiring major industries right now, this very second.
Yeah, it's not waiting for government policy to catch up.
So we're going to run through a quick speed round from the Digest Quick Hits section to map exactly how fast this is moving across the rest of the AI world. Ready?
Let's do it. Okay.
Coinbase's chief technology officer just publicly admitted that 95 to 100% of the company's code is now AI-assisted. That's a financial institution, basically fully AI-coded.
And over in aerospace, SpaceX is currently integrating their $60 billion acquisition of the AI coding platform, Cursor, directly into the XAI technology stack.
Wow. Next up, DeepSeek is dropping their V4 model next week, and they're pricing their top-tier V4 Pro model at a ridiculously cheap 87 cents per million tokens.
Meanwhile, Meta is aggressively spinning up a cloud compute business aimed at deploying 14 gigawatts of custom chips by 2027. And keeping neutral here, it's worth noting they are facing an active lawsuit over AI-assisted layoffs as they do this.
And finally, China's AI companion law just went into full legal effect, regulating how humans interact with synthetic relationships.
It's moving so fast.
It is. I mean, think about your own job, your own industry. If financial giants are already using AI for basically 100% of their coding, and AI is running our search engines and defending our cybersecurity, how much of your daily digital life is actually human right now?
That's the real question.
So, what does this all mean when we put it all together? The common thread today really seems to be speed exceeding human capacity.
Absolutely.
Whether it's Google unable to fix structural software failures fast enough, or human security teams unable to patch 570 flaws manually, or global governments unable to prepare for an industrial revolution happening and fast forward.
Yeah, and that leaves us with a final thought to mull over, really building on those Coinbase and Microsoft stories.
Right.
If AI is now writing 95 to 100% of the code for major financial institutions, and simultaneously AI is finding and patching vulnerabilities at speeds that humans can't even read, what happens when an AI makes a fundamental logic error?
Oh, wow.
And what happens when other AIs just silently build on top of it?
Yeah.
Are we rapidly constructing a digital infrastructure where literally no human being actually understands the foundational code anymore?
That is a terrifying but incredibly important question for this new infrastructure phase.
It really is.
Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive today. We hope we helped you connect the dots behind the chaos. Stay insanely curious, keep exploring these topics on your own, and keep asking the big questions. We will see you next time.